Beth Djalali is exactly who you want to talk to when it comes to having style at a certain age. She knows how to be fashionable and comfortable and personable. Her channel shares her name and has reached over 183,000 subscribers and 25.6 million total channel views. Whether it's the right makeup or clothes, Beth has your back. But instead of talking your ear off about who Beth is and what she's all about, why don't we hear from the woman herself? Beth, how is it going today?
Oh, thanks so much for having me, Grant. I'm very, very excited to talk to you and to just see what questions you'd like to throw my way.
Right on.
Because I'm styled at a certain age. However, you are Grant at
Treesicle. Or the Video Creator Podcast.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, it's.
Thanks for helping me out there.
Yeah, of course, I'm here for you. So, my first question is, why did you get into YouTube in the first place? Now, you're obviously showing off how to dress and whether it's how to dress for a season or a certain occasion or wearing makeup. I guess, like, what was your original goal with YouTube? Were you just trying to share information? Were you just trying to help people look good? Were you trying to grow a business? What's it all about?
Well, I think it's a little bit of all of those things. I really, really do. I have a blog, which I started in 2015. So with that, you start to see, and especially being on the different social channels, you start to see that people digest content in different ways. And in 2017, that's when I started the channel. You could really start to see that everything was going towards video. And so it was really me just thinking, okay, do I want to reach readers, viewers in a different way outside of the written word? And I really did, because I have three sons, and one of my kiddos was in New York at the time on the subway. He digested a lot of content either with podcasts or videos because, he's on the subway and that's how he's going to find out what's happening in the world. So whereas my demographic, we really do love the written word. And so I do have a good blog presence that way. But honestly, it was a really just more, just thinking of my readers, my viewers, and then how actually easier sometimes it is to step in front of a camera rather than taking the photos and stringing the story along that way. So that's pretty much how Styled at a Certain Age YouTube channel got started. It was just thinking, okay, this is where everything is going in the business, and then how can I tap into that and reach my viewer in an authentic way. And I'm really glad that I did, because one of the things, and I think I was maybe surprised about this at first, is my viewer feels very connected to me when they actually get to see me and hear me, which makes perfect sense. So that has been one of the really, I think, fun aspects of YouTube that I really wasn't expecting, but it's probably my favorite thing.
Mm-hmm. So you feel like there's a more inner connectivity with your audience with YouTube versus a blog?
I do. I really, really do. And I love, I'm a writer, so I also love the written word too, but it's just really nice we can be a little bit more strategic, off the cuff with YouTube. Mm-hmm. We can be a little bit more nimbler than putting the blog post together, which, you have to think about your photos, so you have to go out, take the photos, have those edited, then, put all the words together. Whereas YouTube, yes, there's a lot of thought behind it, but we can be just a little bit nimbler. So, and we also like that too, as a team.
Yeah, I find with videos versus the written word, it's like it's easier to use your intuition and to kind of, as you said, just go off the cuff. And sometimes it is nice to be able to just sit down and write and collect your thoughts and kind of think in a dark room, so to speak. But other times when the lights are going, the camera's rolling, it's nice to just kind of say it into the camera. And then especially we were talking earlier, you have a team like videographers that help you. And so they can kind of like wave their magic wand, so to speak, and you're kind of able to present the self that you want to present, and then you kind of have a team that puts it together. And it does sound like it's easier for you to work with your intuition, so to speak, with YouTube.
Yes. And especially like tutorials, like if I'm doing a makeup tutorial, it's so much easier to step in front of the camera and actually show them, what I'm doing step by step. Whereas when you're doing a blog post, you're writing it out, you have the photos, but it's not the same. They still, they can't really see, how exactly my eyeshadow is going on, or how I'm doing, or, perfecting or perhaps not perfecting, a certain technique. So I think that that's where video really, really does have a little bit of an edge when it comes to, certain aspects of my channel.
Mm-hmm. And I am curious, this is always an interesting question to ask people. And that's like, how has YouTube affected your life? So if there was like a before and after snapshot, how would that look to you?
Oh, well, I think one of the things that has really helped me is to be, I guess my husband used to tell me this, that I needed to think a little bit quicker on my feet, because I am that writer, and I love to edit and tweak the words and all of that. But video, I mean, yes, you can have your takes and things like that, but you're more in the moment and you're thinking on your feet. And so it has really helped me hone in on that aspect that really needed to grow a little bit. So I think before and now, and I think everybody has a learning curve of getting comfortable in front of the camera. I mean, it just really, really is. So I think you can see, and it's interesting to see people's channels, through the years. If you go to their earlier videos and then you go, to their later videos, you can see that they've honed in. They start to develop their online presence, and then plus their team is getting bigger too. I mean, I didn't have a team at the beginning. I mean, so we're doing, the sound and the lights.
Oh
and the,
God, I know the feeling.
Right? Yes. So there's been a lot of growth, and it's fun to see because you really can see it. As I just said, you can look at the first videos out there, and then you can look at how far you've come. So it's kind of nice, and it's almost like a little diary as well.
Definitely. And I do find it interesting that you say YouTube has helped you engage with your intuition. And it sounds like not just in front of the camera, but also in your personal life as well. So do you find it's easier to just kind of flow with things? And like there is something about if you spend enough time in front of a camera, I have absolutely noticed with myself that I'm just more comfortable speaking in general. And speaking is, I think it's a skill that people forget about a lot because it's, I mean, I speak English. What else do I need to know, right? But there is a certain amount of practice that you can have with language and conversation and listening, and it's a skill that is worth developing. And I think a lot of people are actually quite underdeveloped in doing it. So it's positively affected my life in that way. I guess I have better conversations. You could say.
Mm-hmm. I think so. I think it teaches us just to be more thoughtful and more succinct, because you can't go on and on. I mean, you can, but you're not going to retain your viewers for very long if you're dragging a point out. So it's also helped me with that too. It's, to strategically think what I want to present, how I can do that in the best way, in the best format that's, the best delivery for my viewer. So yes, but but in the end, I'm the winner because I've learned a lot of things along the way.
Excellent. And one thing I noticed about your channel, so looking in your descriptions, you have lots of clothes available for people to buy. Most of those links are affiliate links, I believe.
Yes.
So you get a commission off those, which is a great YouTube business move. So has YouTube been for you, like, obviously it's a passion project, but how has the business aspect of YouTube evolved for you? Like, is business your main goal? Is YouTube kind of a front for a business of yours? I know you started with a blog, but I guess, like, is the Is selling things like was that kind of your original intention, or were you just kind of trying to express yourself? And by the way, there's no shame in starting a business with YouTube.
Right.
I know plenty of brilliant people who do that. I think like money can make people a little, I don't know, insecure. They don't want to talk about it. But I think talking
Right.
about money, so long as people are comfortable, is a beautiful, cathartic thing. So,
Yes.
yeah, how is the business side of YouTube for you?
Yes. Well, since I did have the blog first, and so I was on the a learning curve with that, and then when I first got into all of this, when I started sharing my outfits, long before the YouTube channel, I didn't know it could be a business. I didn't know you could monetize. I didn't know about affiliate links. I didn't know anything. But I came to a crossroads because I would have women writing in saying, "Well, where did you buy this?" And because they wanted to buy the same outfit. And at first, I was just out there thinking, "Well, this is just inspiration. This is you can just take this outfit and recreate it yourself." I never really thought that they wanted the exact item. So to make a long story short, when I did realize that you could monetize, you could make it a business, it was a crossroads for me. And when I decided to go after the business aspect of it, and so that's ad revenue, that's affiliate links, that's brand partnerships, there's a lot that goes into it. I was actually very excited because I was 56 when I started my blog. So it was really, I had been wondering, I'd been a stay-at-home mom for 26 years. And, when my kiddos went off to university, I knew there was something next for me, but I really wasn't sure what what the next was. And having a business and having a successful business and YouTube being part of that is pretty exciting. And also, I hear a lot from my demographic that it's also encouraging to them that it's never too late. It's never too late to start something, whether it's a business or revamping your wardrobe or living your best life. So
Hmm.
YouTube is really, I guess, just been a part of that because they do enable you to monetize your channel. They make it as easy as possible as far as the getting you up and running with the ad revenue and then letting you include the affiliate links on my shorts or on my video. So it saves me a lot of time and effort because then I would have to be answering all these emails, with people writing in, where can I buy this and where can I buy
Right.
that? So
Hmm. Yeah, it's all nice and centralized, right? It's just like it's in the
mhm.
description. It's easy.
Yes.
You post a video, people know exactly where to find everything, and
Hmm.
that is an amazing part of YouTube for sure. And so I am curious. Are you kind of said YouTube has helped you live your best life? Are what experiences have you had that you feel you wouldn't have been able to have with YouTube? So that could be you traveled somewhere, you went to a convention, you met somebody, you
Hmm.
really just anything. Because I know for me, I've done lots of traveling for YouTube. I've met all kinds of amazing people.
Hmm.
How's that been for you?
Well, I think one of the things that I really love about YouTube is there are other creators out there that you can meet. Like here I am, chatting with you today. So whether that's a creator in my own demographic, I think that's one of the things that I really like about YouTube because, and I think maybe some people perhaps think that we're competitors, but I'm of the mindset that there's enough. I'm happy to see more people, especially my demographic, represented over there. So for me, it's really been chatting with people behind the scenes and getting to know other creators. I mean, with the pandemic and all of that, the past couple of years. So that's that kind of put a little bit of a damper on things, but I'm looking forward to now that things are opening up more and more. I'm really looking forward to going to a conference that focuses on YouTube and the skills and the just I guess the one thing that I do like about YouTube, they give you a lot of information. I mean, they really, really do. I mean, they really are here to help the creator out. So I guess I'm looking forward to, going to a conference and tapping more into that, with the YouTube community. So hopefully this is the year.
Yeah, and I do find it very refreshing how you speak about YouTube. So a lot of people in my demographic, they spend a lot of time complaining about YouTube. I think because we grew up with it, right? It's easy to
Mhm.
take it for granted or to feel like they're kind of against us or something. But
Right.
it is a very freeing platform. You can kind of do whatever you want. You can have your own personal brand. And I did just want to mention that because I don't know, at least in my sphere of things, there's a lot of kind of shaking their fist at the faceless
Mm,
monolith of YouTube, but
right.
it's not
Right.
always productive. And I appreciate how grateful you are. I share in
Mhm.
that grateful feeling as well,
Mhm.
even if it's not always perfect.
No, I mean, oh my goodness, nothing's perfect out there. And yes, I think we've all hit that wall where we think that the algorithm gods are against us, and or
Hmm.
I mean, but that's, I guess, I'm fortunate enough. I have all the social channels going, so I see that on Instagram. I see that on Pinterest. I mean, no matter which channel you're on, you're gonna find roadblocks. You really, really are. But I've always just taken a look at that as well. That's an opportunity for me to grow a little bit and to see if perhaps I need to be doing something a little bit different. So I that's how I kind of look at it. But yes, we I mean, I've been there too, but yes, but overall, no, it's really been a great experience for me. And YouTube, as I said, they try to make it as easy as possible for their creators, to get on the platform to, like you said, I mean, you can talk about anything you want to. It's amazing. It really is. It's very freeing. So,
Absolutely. And so, one thing I also wanted to ask you is you have a lot of YouTube shorts on your
mhm,
channel. So, clearly, you have embraced the YouTube short. I
I have.
was wondering if you could share your experience with shorts. The reason I ask is
Hmm.
because they can be a little controversial in the
Hmm.
sense that some people feel they'll get all this attention from a YouTube short, but then it doesn't really spill over into the rest of their channel. So, why
Hmm.
do you feel that YouTube Shorts have been super worth it for you to the point where you post them quite regularly?
Hmm. Hmm. We do. Well, we have a strategy now. And so we post 3 a week. So one is a style tip. So I always I want my viewer to have some value, when they're watching a short or a long content video. So we do just like, quick little style tip. And then I'll share an outfit, like how to get ready with me, or I'll share, like, just the other day I had a white blazer, and we share it 5 way, or I shared it 5 ways. So for me, it's really great. I love the shorts. I was a little resistant at the beginning for shorts. I think everybody was. It's just like, oh my gosh, one more thing that we have to navigate and learn. But once I embraced it, it's a nice, easy way, and especially when it comes to style. So, because that's what I'll focus on the most with my shorts. It's just an easy way to share content very quickly. So, and then I don't have to, like, with the long content, and I'm sure you hear me when I say this. I mean, you do have to plot it out. You have to have, okay, this is my subject, and then I write things out. So, here's my beginning, here's my middle, here's my end. These are my points. So the shorts are they're just kind of like, just fast and easy. So I don't have to. I mean, are they scripted? I mean, yes. I mean, like, I know I want to have the blazer worn 5 ways, so I have to create those outfits. There's still time and energy put into it, but once we film it and get it up there, it's really easy for my viewer just to tap into that, and it's been an overwhelming success. I would say like 95% of my viewers love the shorts, and five are not quite there. So.
And I think your style of content works very well with YouTube Shorts. So for those listening, wondering, should I try YouTube Shorts?
Mhm.
It depends, right? So I think
Exactly.
the reason that your stuff does well with Shorts is because a lot of your videos, 3 ways tying the mighty trench coat.
Right.
It's like very clear. There's steps. There's
Mhm.
3 items in this case. Whereas like sometimes a short can be it's a little less clear about how long is this going to take. Is this but this it's very laid out, concise. So for those wondering, should I do YouTube Shorts? It depends. Can you say what you want to say concisely with the kind of limited vertical video? Especially, I mean, fashion, right? Vertical video, it's easier to get that full body shot. So
Right.
maybe
it is. It makes it honestly, it makes my team's life a little bit easier because I can't tell you how many times we've struggled, with our, with the camera, trying to get when I'm, doing like a modeling session for, for one of my long videos, trying to get that all in. It's much more challenging. So yes, this is definitely freed my team up, and they're like they like easy. So I mean, sometimes easy is just the way to go.
Definitely. I'm imagining your cameraman like backing up into the wall, trying to get like the full shot.
Yes. or I'm like, I don't know. It's really funny just, how we've had to cope with things, through the years. But no, and especially, I mean, phones have just come such a long way. As far as the filming capacity. So I would have to say my camera team still loves using cameras for footage, but honestly, for the shorts, it's using the iPhone is just it's so easy, really, really easy.
And so I also wanted to ask you about your camera team. So what is your filming process like, and also your overall creative process? So I think working with a team on YouTube is interesting. There's a lot of people who just kind of point a camera at themselves, but how has it been working with a team, and what is your process like when making a video?
Well, it makes my life so much easier knowing that I'm in good hands as far as because lighting is everything. And I have really just come to respect my team, just all the behind the scenes work that goes into it, that they put into it. And so having a team really frees me up really to focus on my content. And as I said, to be thoughtful, to write it out, to know what I'm really talking about. So I really can present it in a very clear and concise way, knowing that the camera settings are perfect. The lighting is going to be the best, that I'll be, situated in a either, the seat that I am, whatever we've come up with that video, I know that they're going to take care of all of that. And it really just frees me to focus on the content as I said, in a very clear and concise way.
Yeah, and it's just, when we were setting up today, I was kind of fiddling with my microphone, setting things up, getting things ready, and that's obviously fine, but it can really help to just not worry about those things so that you can really just focus on speaking with charisma and focusing on being the person on camera who is worth watching, and I've had so many videos where, I'm like, it's just so hard to set up the lights and it's taking too long. And then by the time I sit down in front of the camera, I'm like tired you just gotta pep up anyway. And it's, if you can afford having a team, or if it makes sense, like I would highly recommend having that for sure.
Right. It really does. It just makes my life so much easier. And I didn't have one I didn't have a team at the beginning. It was just, me, myself, and I, putting everything together. And so you can really tell the difference between those videos and then what we're producing now. So, and I even had my cameraman, he had to take a little bit of a leave of absence. So I was left to my own devices a month or two ago. And that was not a pretty video, I have to say. And God bless my viewers, for watching it. But yes, they're worth their weight in gold. They really are.
I'm sure your viewers appreciated that video. Videos like that, especially when they come out occasionally, I think it adds a level of rawness, and people appreciate that, especially on the internet. They're like, oh, wow, this is pure Beth right now.
Yes.
This is
yes. There's no help.
And so take it for what you will. But I'm glad that your team is back, and it's all gonna look even better. And so you've been doing this for 6 years. How has your style evolved? How have your goals evolved? Like, take us through your YouTube journey and your mindset of creating things on this platform.
Sure. Well, I had a little bit of a bumpy road. I was married for 35 years, and right when we launched our YouTube channel, my husband was diagnosed with liver cancer.
Hmm.
So that was I the first really 2 years were a little bumpy for me, but because it's hard to step in front of the camera when when your emotions are written all over your face. But I
Right.
will say I was very proud of us because my husband used to take my photos for the blog, and he used to help me, he would set up the camera for me for YouTube. And when I could see that was becoming a real struggle for him, one of the things I think it was really good for the shorts. It was like, well, when we were out taking our photos, I used to have him take little snippets of my outfit, and then I would put that together for a video. So at least I could keep one toe in the YouTube waters, without, completely abandoning the channel. And those happen to be, some of our most popular videos. It's really kind of cute. So, as I said, it was a little bit bumpy, but my YouTube community has just been so loving and just so thoughtful and really just kind of helped me through all of that. So that was just amazing. Honestly, that was really, really amazing. So I really knew, once my husband passed away and, kind of getting over on the other side of that, the YouTube channel really meant just a lot to me. And so just personally, I just wanted to be able to create the best content for them because they just deserved it. My viewers did. And I do. I really have just an amazing, amazing viewership over there. So, and really, I would say like in the last, few years, it's just, we're just trying to, I guess, up our game as far as content and just continue to bring the best content that we can, to the viewers. So, so like I said, so the lighting's better. Hopefully I'm better. The camera's better, the settings better, all of that. Because I do want to just be able to deliver that great content for my viewers.
Definitely, and you do a good job. So, you said your audience has really helped you, and seems like they're a wholesome bunch. What are the ways that you interact with your audience? Is it just through comments, or are there other ways?
Sure. We're kind of like exploring that this year, if there are different avenues that we can take. And we have been thinking about Patreon, where we would be giving
Hmm.
them exclusive content and a little bit different content, maybe, take them behind the scenes a little bit more and how we put things together. But yes, I have just a really great community over there, but right now it's just mostly comments. And I'm or at least the first 2 days after I release a video, I'm pretty diligent. I do like to go back and answer all the comments and just check up on everybody. So
Hmm.
but stay tuned, because as I said, we're exploring different ways that perhaps we can be a little bit more personal and a little bit more raw with them.
Definitely. And you could try live streaming as well. That
Hmm.
definitely works for people. It's always worth experimenting with.
Yes.
There's Discord servers as well. I don't know if you're familiar with Discord,
No.
but so
No.
Discord is an app. You can have your own server, so to
Hmm.
speak, and you can have a community in there. So it's mostly, you can kind of interact with people whenever. They can interact with you if you want. You can kind of set your own boundaries. But point is, it's a great app for cultivating a community, if that interests you. And you can tie it into your Patreon as well. A lot of
Uh-huh.
people will, they'll have a tier on Patreon that's like $3 a month, and you can join my Discord community.
Okay.
And then, so just an idea, wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have a lot of success with that, for sure.
Well, thanks for sharing.
Yeah, and I also, I want to say I'm happy that your community is so helpful and wholesome. So my
Well, I mean, we all we all know, out there in
yeah.
social media, it's I would say like 95%. It's just super positive, but we all know the underbelly of the social channels. So yeah, so it's not always it's not. I mean, believe you me, I've had my chops busted more than once over there. So
Yeah,
we
I'm
we, we have to
YouTube
navigate that
comments.
too.
Yeah. YouTube comments are they can
Mm-hmm.
be great, they can be not so great. And
Mm-hmm.
like for me, so with the whole Discord server thing, it was
Uh-huh.
funny. I'm in the realm of video games with my channel Treesicle,
Uh-huh.
and our content could be on the edgier side, you could say. So what ended up happening is we cultivated an audience of like edgy teenage boys, and
Mm-hmm.
and then so we make this server, and then all of the edgy teenage boys go to the same place and they start interacting with each other and me, and it's like, oh my god, this is this is a lot. And it was
Mm-hmm.
still fun. 90% of people were cool, but
Yeah.
that 10%, that
Yes.
10%,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't even that they weren't cool necessarily, but they were a lot. And
Yes.
the
Yeah.
internet is a magical thing. Anybody
Yes.
from anywhere can say anything
Right.
for any reason.
Hmm. It is. You never know. You just never know on any given day. But yes, overall, as I said, 95% of my viewers, they're amazing, truly amazing.
Hmm. That is lovely. And so I guess what is on the horizon for you? Like, what is your next YouTube step? Are you just gonna keep doing the same? I know you have an update video where you talk about this,
Mhm.
but in your own words right now, what's next?
Well, we have the lovely silver plaque for 100,000 subscribers. So I'm already thinking about a million subscribers, and so what does that look like as far as our content is concerned? So really, this year is just it's a as I said, we're exploring Patreon, we're exploring, and as you mentioned, live streaming. That's definitely on our radar screen as well. So it's really just trying to, I guess, up the channel a little bit. So we're keeping it fresh and we're keeping it moving forward, and not having just the same old.
Right on. Yeah, it's always fun and interesting to make new stuff, kind of keep things fresh, right? It can be nerve-wracking as well, but I think the fun of YouTube
It
is
is.
that it is for you, right? And so when
Mhm.
you kind of feel like you've done a certain style of content, maybe you still want to release it, but you
Yes.
also have the option to do totally new things. So do you think you would ever like you're mostly fashion based. Do you think you would ever like have guests on your channel or kind of go out into the world and like,
Mhm.
we're gonna go crash this shop and see what's up, see what we can find?
Mhm.
Is there anything like that on the horizon, or what do you
Well,
think?
we've been talking about that too, and we really have been thinking that it would be really fun. And I love this, exchange that we're having today. It would be really nice to incorporate that on the channel too, and to be able to, to bring experts in. Like maybe I'm talking about skincare, and to have an expert. So it's not just me, showing my skincare routine again, but it's actually, tapping into experts and and sharing their expertise too. So that's definitely something we've batted around as well. To continue to to keep it fresh and and relevant. And I love I mean, I really love, because I follow a lot of food, foodies out there, healthy food, and I love it. Like when they go to Trader Joe's and they're they're kind of on the down low, and they're like they
Uh-huh.
may get busted, and they may get kicked out of the store, but yet they're bringing the content to their viewers. I love that. I don't know if that's with all of the things. I mean, that's one of the things I've tried to be thoughtful about, is not biting off too much to chew. So just like, so the big thing for us was introducing the shorts, and so we've done that, and we're in a pretty good cadence. And our long videos, we have a pretty good a handle on that. So now it's more thinking the live stream, and then I'm very interested in chatting with people and bringing guests on. So that's kind of down the road, but we'll take it one step at a time.
Definitely. And one thing I always recommend when you're going to try something totally new, so if you're going to bring a guest on and have a kind of conversational style of content, is obviously upload it to your channel, see how people react, see how it does views wise. And then sometimes it actually makes more sense to have a dedicated channel to that new style of content. And then you can kind of, if you want, then you can post another one of those interviews to your channel, kind of pointing to the new channel. And that way you can kind of keep things narrow. YouTube definitely likes when people are consistent with their style of content. But every audience is different. I think like there's no hard rules here, right? The lines are always blurry. It's really just a question of does your current audience like the thing that you're going to do next? And if they do, or if enough of them do, rather, then you don't necessarily have to make a new channel. But I guess think about the Venn diagram, right? Is it just one giant overlapping circle? Is it two separate circles just sitting in a white void? It's these are always the questions. I think what you just described would do very well with your audience. But that's always the fun thing about YouTube is how am I going to do this? I got an idea, but what's the strategy?
Right. Trial and error. And you're so right, because it's like, and that's why we try to, be thoughtful and take things a little bit slowly, because you can't just spring brand new things on your audience, because it's like changing genres in the middle. If you're reading a mystery novel, it's like all of a sudden you're reading a romance novel and you're like, what the heck? And you just throw it away. So you do have to be thoughtful. You can't just out of left field, just, go in a completely new direction. I mean, you can, but now is it going to, keep your audience captive? Perhaps not. So, yeah. So those are all the things that we, behind the scenes that we think about and talk about too. So, but I so appreciate all of your suggestions, because they are spot on.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I do consulting for YouTube, so I like to think I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. You do.
Some days I do.
I'm pretty sure you do.
Maybe, perhaps. I do my best, that's for sure. So you've talked about having a schedule with shorts. Do you have a release schedule with videos? Has it been consistent over the years? What's your release schedule like?
So our long videos are Wednesdays and Sundays. They're not always, I don't do consistently two long videos every week, but when we do release them, my viewers do know that it will be Sunday or Wednesday, and then our shorts are then on the other days. So we try sometimes we forget to publish them on the day that we're supposed to. The shorts, we're still getting used to that cadence, but it's supposed to be Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for the shorts. So then we can batch our content as well. So when we're filming, we tend to film all of the shorts in one day, and we film all the videos in one day, and then, hand it off to the editors, so then they can work their magic.
And so have you had a strategy you've tried to stick to? Obviously, the release schedule in and of itself is a strategy, but you do have a lot of videos that's kind of 6 iconic essentials for blah, blah, blah. 10 classic fall essentials. You do a lot of the list style content, which tends to do very well. It's easy to follow. What if you could boil down your strategy with YouTube into a couple sentences or however long you want to take, what would it be?
Well, you mentioned it. It was consistency. You have to be consistent, and you can't just erratically post. You can't just be, okay, this week it's Tuesday, and then you don't post, for another 3 weeks. When anybody ever comes to ask me for advice, it's you have to be consistent. So that's the first thing. And then it's, for me, it's just like, okay, content. It's spring. We just did a spring trends video. So I know everybody's going to be interested in what's trending, but my demographic perhaps is not always going to incorporate those trends, or they think they can't incorporate those trends. So then I kind of think, okay, well, how would they be able to incorporate a crazy, trend from the, fashion runways? How can they, how does that trickle down into, to everyday life? So for me, it's always just thinking about the content that they would appreciate, and then that they would walk away having some value. So, and that's why I like the list. I will definitely go to the list, because it's like, okay, I'm a classic style dresser, so here are the 10 classic items that you want to have in your closet. So I just like to share that. So really it is, and even though we do segue a little bit away from style, I mean, style is the main videos that my readers really love, but they also like beauty. So they like skincare, and they like beauty. And I do like to share, like, healthy recipes, things like that too, from time to time. But mostly it really is. It's just those style videos that for me is going to add value to their life.
And I like that. That's very simple, kind of elegant.
Mhm.
Like you just kind of stick to
Mhm.
that basic idea and
Mhm.
you roll with it. I think
Mhm.
sometimes we can overcomplicate things. I know when I first got started, I was just like, I just want to make philosophical content about video games. And then as it started to get bigger,
Uh,
people on my team were like, no, people don't care about the philosophy. They're just watching for this and they're just
right.
watching for that. And then you kind of start trying to piece together some monstrosity of a like your reason for doing this or what actually works. But
Right.
I think simplicity can be surprisingly helpful in
Mhm.
in the weird world of YouTube.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and so I did want to touch on this again because
Mhm.
you have so many affiliate links in your
Mhm.
description, and it's like a shop in there. You kind of
It
scroll
can be,
through it,
right?
and you're like, oh wow, that
I
a
know.
cool blazer. I could get some pants. I could do all this, and then
Mhm.
obviously you have your sponsorships.
Right.
How do you decide what you want to have available? Like, how do you decide on a sponsorship, or how do you know that it's relevant to your audience?
That's a very good question, because you have to be thoughtful about the brands that you're going to partner with. And of course, and I always, share with my viewers, thank you, for sponsor, or for following the sponsors or engaging with them, because they do allow me to bring better quality videos, to them at the end of the day. That's really what it's all about. But it also has to be, I just like to be thoughtful about the sponsorships, because it has to make sense. So it has to be, like I partnered with Storyworth, which was just, when they reached out to me, it was like, oh my gosh, I have to partner with them, because it was just, what a great, I'd never heard of them before. A lot of my viewers had, and they were but very happy that I partnered with them. But here is a wonderful book that you can put together. Basically, what Storyworth is you can, like, I'm 63 and I want my children to know a few things about me, so they'll have a book that they can refer to when I'm not here anymore. So that's really what Storyworth is all about. Not necessarily that, that you have the book when you're not here, but it's a very thoughtful book that you can put together, but it takes a year, because, they send out these questions, week by week. But so I just look at it, if it's going to resonate with me, it's most likely going to resonate with my audience too. I am very picky with who I partner with. I get so many requests, and the same on Instagram or my blog. I just really am very thoughtful and just try to, again, I want that sponsorship to add value to their life, or perhaps they'd never heard of, like, I partnered with Jenny Kane a while ago, a California brand, and perhaps I hadn't heard of that brand before, and so what makes this brand unique? Why would I be sharing that particular brand? But so it just goes back to, again, just bringing value to my audience, and it's not just at the end of the day. I mean, yes, it is a business, but it can't just always be about the almighty dollar. It just really can't be, because then you can easily go off the rails, and then you're just partnering with everyone, and then you've really diluted your message, and why you're partnering with these brands to begin with. So
And do you reach out to sponsors or do they reach out to you?
No, they've it's 100% organic. So they reach out to me. I'm very blessed that way. So
Hmm.
I'm in a position because I do have a very strong blog and my other social channels are very strong too. So I really can pick and choose and decide which ones I think are the very best. So
Great. So
mhm,
if you had like one piece of advice for how to do well on
mhm,
YouTube, somebody's watching, they're like, I want to start a
mhm,
YouTube channel, but I'm
mhm.
confused, I'm
I
scared,
know,
I'm nervous.
right?
What would you tell this person?
I would say you really honestly, you have to jump in. Don't be afraid. Just jump in. You will figure things out along the way because at the very beginning, you're not going to have that many eyeballs on you. So if you're going to be making the mistakes, and you will, I mean, we still make mistakes now, but it's very limited, collateral damage because there aren't that many eyeballs on you. So go ahead and start to spread your wings. Don't be afraid. I just see so many people get stuck in perfectionism, and that they have to have everything all right before they start. And I'm just kind of the other way. I just think you should just jump in and figure things out along the way. I mean, of course, you want to be thoughtful about what niche you want to represent out there. I mean, you can't be talking about something different every single week, right? You have to be
Hmm.
like, you're a gamer, so you're talking about the games, whether it's philosophically or otherwise. You had your niche. So mine is style, mine is fashion. So if you're a foodie, or I mean, there's so many things that you could talk about. So narrow that down, but then don't be afraid and don't be paralyzed by perfectionism. I mean, you can't. You just kind of have to go for it.
Hmm. So you mentioned like don't be afraid to make mistakes. I am
Hmm.
curious if you're
Hmm.
cool sharing,
Hmm.
what is at least one mistake that you feel that you made over the years?
Oh my gosh, just too many. Too many today. But I mean, I look at my early videos, and I mean, our sound was just atrocious. I mean, that was a pretty bad mistake. Or I mean, I guess I'm just looking more at the technical things, the lighting and things like that. Um, I definitely am a better speaker now. We were talking about this earlier.
Hmm.
I can go back and with a lot of videos, and especially I mean, I have a great editing team now. So if I'm doing a lot of ums and like that, I mean, they can mostly take that out. But I've gotten a lot better too with my delivery, and not so I guess, I don't know, kind of all over the page. I think at the beginning, I probably was perhaps a little bit more all over the page, and I'm much more succinct now
Hmm.
than I was, earlier. But yes, oh my gosh. If I go back and look at, I mean, I look actually one of I think it's my most popular video, and I actually edited that video, Grant, and I just look at that now and I'm like, oh dear Lord, what. Yeah, I was doing all this spinning, and it was like me looking for one more, razzmatazz.
How can I add some
Right,
pizzazz?
right. So I mean, that video is overloaded with pizzazz. So yeah, so I look at a lot of videos and I'm just like, oh, oh dear Lord, but that was the best that I could do then. And you
Hmm.
know what? I'm happy that I did it and learned.
That's
So.
one thing I tell people too is if you're not looking back at your old videos and cringing a bit,
Mhm.
then you're
Right?
not growing. Like that just means you're making progress and you're doing well. If you're
Um,
watching your super old videos and thinking
mhm.
like, wow, this is just as good as the stuff I'm doing now. I
No.
mean, maybe you've just been great all along, but I think
Right.
it's only natural to grow and change and to
Mhm.
get better,
Mhm.
and that's just kind of part of the process.
Yeah.
And I think also it's important to realize that when I watch myself or you watch yourself, when we're
Mhm.
watching ourselves, we tend to be way more critical than
Oh.
somebody who is just kind of watching and passing by. Unless, of course, they're a super negative commenter, in which case you don't want that person in your life anyway. So,
Right.
don't
Right.
think like a negative YouTube comment about yourself. Just be aware that the self-reflection aspect of YouTube can be weird. It can mess with you. But if
Right.
you can set it aside enough to just get started and keep
Right.
going,
Right.
then you're going to grow and you're going to get better.
Yes, I agree 100%. But I will say I'm so glad I don't have to edit my own videos anymore, because I used to get like so sick and tired of hearing my voice
Mm-hmm.
and looking at my face. I was, by the time the video was done, I'm like, oh dear Lord, I'm sick of it. So, who knows, who else is going to be sick of it, but it's a lot nicer. I have to tell you, not having to do that anymore. That's a huge relief. So, but yes, we're far more critical on ourselves than the average person is.
Definitely. And tell me about it when it comes to being overloaded with your own face and voice.
Uh-huh.
So I was and still am the main host of Treesicle. And so
Uh-huh.
we had a team of 4 people. Now it's down to 2. We're more streamlined now, you could say. But when we had 4 people, everybody was doing editing. So,
Mhm.
and we would have, each person would do like a fourth of the video. And
Mhm.
so there would be sometimes people editing with speakers, and I could hear my voice from that room. I could hear it
Uh-huh.
from that room. And then I could hear it when I was working on my own part of the video. And it was like, oh my
Mhm.
God. I'm
No,
like,
you're just like, la.
make it stop. I can't take it anymore.
Right?
And
It
there
is.
was many years of that. So
Yes.
it's part of the process, I guess. You just got to learn to get comfortable with yourself, I guess.
You do.
And yeah, well, this has been lovely, Beth. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you? If there's anything you want to promote, maybe your Instagram, where can people find you?
Well, thank you. Well, you can find me. We have a daily blog post, and so that is at styleatacertainage.com. Most of my channels are styled a certain age. So you can find me on TikTok or Instagram, Pinterest, styled a certain age. My YouTube channel happens to be my name, although we have the banner says styled a certain age. But if you Google Beth Djalali or styled at a certain age, you can find any of my social channels, or just directly head over to the blog. Everything's also listed over there too, very succinctly. So. But this has
Awesome.
been lovely, Grant. Thank you so much for having me on. I've so appreciated chatting with you the past hour.
The feeling is mutual. Thank you for being on. It's I love talking to different people from the different parts of YouTube, and I mean you're in your own sphere, and I'm really glad to have talked to you today and kind of pick your brain and see how you think and how things work for you.
Okay, well, we'll do it again sometime. Maybe you'll be on my channel. Who
That
knows?
sounds great. I would love to, for real. Well, yeah. Thank you so much, and for those watching, I will see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.